I want to do this video as a change of pace in the way that I'm making these white cakes, and they're supposed to be like a birthday cake, but I have this certain thing in mind, this certain artistic vision for the frosting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the frosting. I'm going to mix several different blue colors. I want to be monochrome as far as different shades of blue. And it's funny because the cake is blue, but that was a total accident. It was just the mix that I had on hand. And it's like doctoring it, but like to my defense, I'm following a recipe. Like that was not planned either. But I'm going to be making these beautiful, I'm hoping, crossing fingers, these beautiful white cakes that are supposed to be like a birthday cake. I'm going to post one, and then one of them, my friend, it's her birthday. She's going to pick it up. She said, "Hey, you're making cake? I want a cake." Which I hate when people do that, but we're going to go along with it. So I have all this frosting to make, which I love. And I want to do one day a frosting video where I show step-by-step frosting, because frosting, there is an art to it. And frosting is really, you're just pumping a lot of air into it. You're whipping air, and then it has to be smooth, and you don't want to overmix it. Frosting can be a little bit touchy. As far as that's concerned, it can be intimidating, and that's valid if somebody's a new person at all of this, like I was 2 years ago. So anyway, so I want to set up and get the palette knives out and all the different frostings and show that process, the decorating process, and not in a tutorial. It sounds like it is, but it's not in a tutorial sort of way, like I'm showing you. It's just like you're keeping me company while I do it, kind of thing. And I have the tripod out, obviously, and I'll try my best to get a good angle of that. And I will explain a little bit so you can follow along with what I'm doing. But I'm not going to be explaining in the way that I'm not teaching you. I'm just showing you. If that makes sense. And I will see if this is a good video. We'll see, because I'm new to making these types of videos. And if it's a good video, then I'll do it again. I'll do it a few times. That's one of the reasons why I wanted a tripod, is because I wanted to show as overhead shot as possible of the frosting and piping frosting and cupcakes. And this is, you know, I have an artistic vision for these. It's like a flower, but it's going to be like off frame, I guess you could say. Like it's going to be only part of the flower, like an overlap. And I think it'll be a very simple but very cute, very beautiful thing. And then I'll just, you know, do several different kinds of blue, like 3 or 4 different kinds of blue. And then I'll put a little bit of gold sanding sugar on the edge of the petals of the flower, which I've never done, but I see it in a picture and it looks like something I could handle, if that makes sense. So this is just the intro to my video, and I'll see you all later. Hi, I am going to frost these cakes. They're white cakes. And I made this kind of a dark purplish frosting. And I made a lot of this light teal frosting. I'm not going to make a crumb coat, because the great thing about making baked goods to give away, you don't need to do a million steps like when you're a professional and have to do it perfect. I'm not doing a sloppy job You know, I'm not like, hey, this isn't important, I'm just gonna wing it, whatever. I'm really, you know, doing my best with what I got. And the reason why this cake looks teal is because I used a cake mix that came out around Easter. A couple of years ago, it was a donation. And I mixed it with the regular white cake mix. And I'm glad that I used it. I'm glad I had it. Because the recipe I used, which I will provide a link, I needed to use 2 boxes of cake mix. This looks like I won't have enough frosting, but honestly, if you play around with it, which is kind of fun, you play around with it, it seems like, it feels like it's not going to be enough, and that it is. My plan with this cake is going to put a flower on one corner, like I said in my last take. This isn't a tutorial. This is just showing a process of decorating these cakes. They don't need to look perfect, and people will appreciate them for what they are, which I love. I don't have to worry about them looking perfect. I'm not going to make them look terrible and think no one will care. I try my best, but I'm not overwhelmed with what they will look like, because I know the people that get them will love them. And that's really all that matters. I have palette knives over here that are food grade. They make food grade brushes, paint brushes that I won't use today, but I am starting to use them. If I wanted to take the time, I could, add a little bit of texture to this, but I don't want to be honest with you. So this is what this looks like so far. Again, no crumb coat. Looking at this, I do really like that blue. And then this is, I didn't do this on purpose. This was a cake mix. The reason why it's kind of mucky on top, even though it is baked the whole way through, I checked, of course, is because I put foil on top because it was starting to brown. I didn't want it to burn, and it was very hard to check. It's always satisfying in videos when they plop all of the frosting on top like that, in my opinion, because frosting is so fluffy looking. should do a video, or I should do, well, I don't do layered cakes. I do these 9x13 pans because it's easier for what I do. It's baking and giving it away. I'm going to scrape this bowl with the spatula, making sure I get all of the frosting out, because it doesn't seem like much, but once you scrape it all out, it's quite a bit. Harry, my spouse that passed away, he would do that with the peanut butter, and I tell him, like, it's not a big deal, because it was just so inconvenient for me, because it's hard to explain. But he would say, like, you know, this peanut butter costs money. You want to waste all that peanut butter? And now I see these peanut butter spatulas now that they remind me of him. He would have liked that, because he would actually say, hey, they should make a spatula just for this, or a knife or whatever, you know. And I tell him, like, why do you keep talking about peanut butter all the time? But he was kind of like me. He would fixate on things. Yeah, this is going to be plenty of frosting. And then, this is the easy part, the hard part. Hard in quotations, because it's still going to be pretty easy. Is going to be the artistic part. Again, I don't care about professionalism. There is a lot of, you can see the air bubbles. I don't care because I'm not a professional, but a professional, that would drive them crazy. They would fiddle with it, you know, until it, well, they would put a crumb coat on it as well. We're not doing that. A crumb coat, might as well, since I have the time, is you basically take white frosting and then you do a very thin layer of frosting. And you put it all over the cake. You basically assemble the cake, the filling, and then you put, if it's like strawberry jam or whatever, the strawberry filling, then the frosting, you put the next layer on, you just assemble everything. And you have this thin layer, like you can still see the cake a little bit. And the point is for you to put it in the fridge, freezer, and then you decorate the cake later, either a wedding cake, birthday cake, whatever it is, and it basically keeps everything intact. It basically makes it so when you're putting the fondant or frosting, whatever, on the side with a spatula like this, and you're like smoothing everything out, all those crumbs aren't gonna keep attaching to the spatula, like everything is gonna stick. Everything is stuck to the frosting. And I think it's funny that some bakers brag that they don't have a crumb coat. They do other things, and it's like, okay, we don't care. But that's what a crumb coat is. It's just all part of the process. And then, of course, they do a bunch of them. They have, like, a baking day, an assembling day, and then a decorating day, delivery day. You know, they have a day that they call everybody. Sometimes they call everybody, like Wednesday is calling people to pick up their cake day. That, you know, it's done, you need to pick up your cake. Some of them do that. But the thing is about the charm, in quotes, of my baking is it looks very homemade in the way that it doesn't look perfect. But it looks like your mom, that I have this little like white chunk of the frosting that didn't mix. It looks like your grandma or your aunt or whoever made it for you. And that's like part of the charm, like somebody took their time out to make it for you. It's like you're just happy that you're thought of. That's funny. I took it off. I scraped it with the one spatula just to scrape it on the. Did you see that? So. Anyway, I like this shade of blue. It's not a sky blue. It's kind of, but not. It's more of a dull, light turquoise. Which, of course, you need to learn how to mix colors. You can Google, but you need to learn how to mix colors. Which, that is going to be part of my... when I teach about frosting. One cool thing about frosting is this corner is, I'm like frustrated, but it's funny because now I'm going to put some of this frosting on the other cake because there's a little bit extra on here. There's a little bit short on there. I'm not good at eyeballing. That's okay. Hold on. Usually I have music playing. I have ADHD and music helps me focus. But I need to do this video. That's one of the reasons why I'm rushing. I can't concentrate without my music playing. And also, frosting is like the last bit. So, I'm just happy that it's almost over. That's a problem with frosting. Problem in quotation marks for me is I feel like I see the finish line, so I'm putting in that last bit of adrenaline. this last bit, and then I'll get to the fun part. That's also why I'm hurrying, because this part's not fun. You also can use one of those, like a bench scraper, but they make ones with edges on it. And you can make a design with that. I'll do that sometime on video, but just double checking. Do a little more, because there's a couple thin parts on the top of this one that I'm trying to cover. It's just, there's this part where I can see the cake and it's bothering me. I want it to be covered. It's like a bump in the cake that's popping out. And this, I will post a link for this cake in the description if anybody wants to try this for themselves. It was pretty easy. Put some sour cream in there, some almond extract, some vanilla extract, some eggs, cake mix, oil, a little bit of oil. I'm using the frosting I have to patch up this one little bump that it's just, I always tell myself if I don't do it, it'll bother me. over. I finally patched up that one little bump. And I just had to run the spatula over and just scrape it all off. Oh my goodness. You just get a feeling when you're done, you know? Sometimes it's just you're over it and you don't want to do it anymore. And then sometimes it's just like, yeah, that looks good. That looks exactly how it's supposed to look. That one definitely looks a bit better, but that's okay. And this is just a simple buttercream. For what I do, buttercream's best. So this is what this one looks like. This one was a bit of the challenging one, but that's okay. And then this is what this one looks like so far. It's kind of a sky blue, but not really. And then I'm going to make a flower with this kind of a purplish blue. And so this is going to be the part that is going to take some skill. And I'm just going to do like a flower Kind of like when you have the sun in the corner when you make drawings when you're a kid. But this is when the real artiste side comes out. I did look in Google Images for birthday cake designs. Because I wanted inspiration. I wanted to see. And I found that kind of thing, you know? And I don't ever do that. I don't ever look up pictures. I'm really good at, you know, figuring it out on my own. But that's okay. That doesn't mean that I'm bad. That's not a bad thing to look. I mean, that's the point. There's people that do that all the time. You know? Now I am drawing excuse my nose. But yeah, that's the part, that's what I should have done for, see? It's like a little, it's going to be like a little flower. Just a very basic, simple thing that we're going to be doing with this. And then, not to overthink it or overdo it or anything, but I think I'm going to do something in the corner here as well. The pictures I saw had a bit of an edge sticking out. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that here. But it was like an edge, like it came to a point, and then the sprinkles were on the edge. I'm not going to really do that here. But it will look pretty. You know, it'll look like it did something. That's all that matters, really. We're just doing a simple little thing. And I might do this pattern again sometime and I'll get better. Not that I'm not, you know, good at artistic stuff. I very much am, but doing with frosting is a whole nother thing altogether. And I kind of screwed that up. So I'm trying to fix it. Now, holy hell. Nothing that a little bit of frosting can't fix. I did an extra one over here. And was one too many, so we're going to fix it. Okay, that kind of looks good. We're going to go with it. I made an extra one and it doesn't look right. And that's why it's a good thing to have extra of the lighter blue frosting to like patch up. And I know that, and I didn't do it. So that was my bad. That's okay. We don't care. You know? We just are making a flower. And it's really not that big a deal. I'm not going to make it a big deal. Because it's not a big deal. And that was there. See, I blended this in, this corner, and then see I did an extra one and that didn't look right. So I kind of just blended it all. But see, I'm just doing this simple little overlapping flower. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one as well. I'm going to do this one a little bit bigger, I guess. Making this one bigger, it seems that's what works here, is to make it huge. See, I'm making this one bigger because the proportions seem like that's what I was supposed to do. Just trying to blend it into this light blue. So it's all kind of smudged together. That seems like that's what works here. And then I'm going to try my best to do a straight line. Like, not like smudge, like a pile or something. But, you know, we're trying to draw with frosting here. So the texture is kind of globby. So and then the good thing about the gloves, though, you can kind of make it look like you did that on purpose. This is what I have so far. ADHD, I'm like, where did I put it? Where did it go? And then I'll continue with these. I put too much on. I'll just continue with these flower petals. Just need practice. I'm very good at drawing. It's just the frosting. The frosting is an issue, that's all. The reason why I wanted to do this one and then this one is because I wanted to make sure I had enough frost. I didn't want to use it all on this one and then, you know. So this is what this one looks like. Very amateurish, but it's kind of cute. And I have these are for Christmas. These are Christmas, but, you know, nobody needs to know that. Just to add a little bit of gold to the blue. I really like that. Actually, the gold really goes well with the blue. This one. It actually kind of looks neat, like that way. But yeah, this with the gold. And then I put the gold on there. And then, you know, I have blue. This blue frosting still. So now we're going to improvise. Now I'm standing here thinking, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do? Maybe I could do like streaks. That would be pretty. Just like nothing specific, you know. We're just improvising here. Just blending. I'm not doing anything specific here. I'm just blending this. It looks good. I do like it when frosting is like mixed, but it's not completely mixed. It's just like kind of blended a little bit, but one thing I love about art is what you're planning on doing sometimes and the end result are two totally different things. It's a journey, and I'm not, being deep or anything. I'm just saying that sometimes the end result is different. And it's just really fun, It reminds you of why you like doing it. That's, I think, one of the therapeutic things about art is it's a journey. I guess I am getting deep, but like who you are when you start and who you become, and it just kind of just links everything together. It just reminds you that everything kind of just touches everything else. See, and that is that. And I don't know, I'm looking at my sprinkles. I guess what I'll do is I'll finish the both of them, and then I'll decide. I don't want to go like that and block everything. this one aside. Just put some of this dark blue on here. Just mix, you know, there's really nothing to it. just trying to get any kind of this lighter blue. I kind of overdid it with the darker blue. So I'm trying to mix in so it looks better. Nobody cares, but it's bothering me, so I guess my feelings are valid. Okay, now that's looking a bit better. I gotta shape it a bit, I guess. that looks really neat. Like I'm now deciding I love it. Is that neat? It's like not, it looks darker on the video than in real life. It's like this really neat, like purple. I actually have lots of frosting left over. So it's not a lot, like a lot wasn't the right wording, but I'm going to do something. With this cake that's similar. This cake has more frosting on it, the light blue frosting. And then I'll put more of the gold, I think. Okay, now I think I'm done. See, this one is a bit more blended, I think. Like it's a little bit lighter. And then this one is darker, which is okay. So, I want to scratch my nose, but I don't want to go and wash my hands. So we're just toughing it out. Just what you do sometimes. In life. It's kind of neat. It's like stars in the sky. I'll put a little bit of the silver ones in here. Not too little, not too much. And I think that's it. Wait, you know it would be really cool if I put some of these bigger ones. Now that looks really neat. I'm glad I did that. Okay, now that looks good. And I put some of the bigger ones on the flower, and they both look good in their own ways. I know they're just slightly different, but look at that. I put some in the flower, and then I had a bunch of gold and silver sanding sugar. That's what that's called. They're like the little colored sugar on Peeps. That's what that's called. It's called sanding sugar. If you didn't know. I put a little bit on the flower around the outside. And then this. And then I thought it was neat. It was like stars in the sky. So I put some silver ones because I had more of the gold than the silver. And that's it. I'm going to put these in the fridge. I'm going to cover them up. Put them in the fridge. And this isn't a big deal. I mean, we're just making cakes here. Don't make a big deal out of it. And then you post it and people come over and they love it and they'll leave ingredients if they want. And I have a rule, you can pick up one thing every 2 months. One thing every 2 months. You can donate if you want. It's not necessary to pick up something. And it's fun. You know, I'm mentally disabled. I can't work. So it gives me something to do. And I am happy that I do something that makes other people happy. And it doesn't need to look perfect. It needs to be safe to eat. That's only standard here. This doesn't look perfect. It doesn't look like something that would be at a bakery. Just like something really homemade looking and cute, you know? And I will see you all later.